I just want to talk a little bit about finding some sort of comfort when you're uncomfortable. Because like I mentioned in one of my previous videos, when you can find some sort of comfort in being uncomfortable, you allow yourself to grow and you allow yourself to stretch beyond your normal capacity. What brought this thought on to me is that, if you guys been following, I tore my Achilles about 6 or 7 weeks ago, and I've been in a boot, and every week it gets better. But what I'm learning is every 2 weeks there's a change, there's a shift in the progression, in the healing process, in the recovery. After surgery, I was in a splint for 2 weeks, couldn't put any weight on it. And then after that, they put me in this boot where I had like these 3 heel lifts so that my foot is on an angle. But every 2 weeks, I'm to take a heel lift out so that my Achilles can stretch and increase my range of motion. But after about a week, the pain that comes from taking the heel lift out, I get used to it. I get comfortable in being uncomfortable. It still hurts, but I'm comfortable. But the minute I get comfortable, it's time for me to take another heel lift out. So there's another moment of me being comfortable in being uncomfortable, and then that being uncomfortable increases again. And then by the time I get comfortable after a week with that amount of pain and the lift in the boot, it's time to take another one out. So right when I get comfortable in being uncomfortable, a new circumstance arises where I have to get accustomed to. One thing I've learned with being uncomfortable is that what comes with that is progression, wisdom, elevation. Because when you're uncomfortable, if you choose not to run and you choose to face that uncomfortable feeling head on, you learn from it. You get better from it. And when you are faced with that uncomfortable feeling again, you know how to deal with it, and it's not an issue anymore. You just got that much better just from facing that uncomfortable situation, uncomfortable feeling head on. And another thing is, sometimes you're in a situation where you're uncomfortable and you consider it a loss because you went through the fire, you went through the process, but you didn't come out as a winner on the other side. And it all depends on your mindset. If you consider it a loss, then you're a loser. But if you consider it a lesson, then you never lost, because you gained experience from it. You learned that if you were to experience the exact same situation the next day, you know how to handle it because you went through that fire already. You went through that process, you've learned from it. The decisions that you made in the previous situation that caused you to lose, you go in another direction because you learned that didn't work. So if you allow yourself to go through the same situation more than once or twice and you react the same way, you never learn from it. If you go through a tough relationship, a breakup, and the first time it happened, you just hit rock bottom, you hit ground zero, you don't know how you're gonna make it, you don't wanna live the next day, you don't wanna talk to anybody, and you get through it and you start to date again and you end up having, another breakup. If you react the same way you did previously, then you learn nothing from that previous situation. So you always wanna look at uncomfortable situations never as a failure. It's never a failure. It's always a lesson learned, gained experience from that. You get laid off your job once and you're devastated, you don't have savings up for the next 6 or 7 months. Yeah, you're devastated. And what you learn from that is the next go around, if you are to get laid off again, number one, you're gonna be prepared, you're gonna have savings. And number two, you're not gonna be sad and depressed and down in the dumps because you've been through this before. You always know that there's another door that's gonna open at the right time for you in that situation. So even in my losses, I've learned, you know what I'm saying? Because I gained experience from it. I've gotten smarter from it, I've gotten stronger from it, and I know that if I'm faced with that same task again, how to react so that I come out on the other side. And even if I lose or fail again in that same situation, I'm not gonna be hurt. I'm gonna learn another lesson from that to apply the next time when it comes around. Sometimes it takes more than once for you to get a certain situation, for you to get some understanding for how to react the next go around. So I just wanted to share, learn to find some sort of comfort in those uncomfortable moments, because it's in those moments of you being uncomfortable that's where change happens, that's where growth happens, and you become a better person. You gain more experience. Don't run from it. Face it head on, win or lose. You know what I'm saying? So that's mine.